They told Ian he was doing everything right, training 4 times a week, eating clean, cutting calories. But here's the truth. He was doing everything right, but he was doing it in all the wrong ways. Because despite his discipline, his body was stuck in what I call the silent stress loop. Tired but wired, eating less but unable to shift the stubborn fat, sleeping less but overthinking more. And if you're a driven, logical guy in your 40s, you're probably trapped in this too. At 49, Ian looked like a man who should have been in great shape. Consultancy business owner, lifelong lifter, golf on the weekends. But inside, his body was declining. He was waking up 2 to 3 times every night to pee. He was bloated after almost every meal, and he had fatigue that vanished only after eating. Classic blood sugar roller coaster. He was also on thyroid medication and still feeling exhausted. His libido was lower than it had ever been, while his anxiety was higher than it had ever been. And the scale, frozen no matter what he did. He said it himself. I feel like I'm doing a lot but not seeing the body change at all. Sound familiar? This is Ian's story. How we took a 49-year-old consultant with high stress, broken sleep and metabolic slowdown and rebuilt his body into photo shoot condition before his 50th birthday. And the craziest part, it wasn't about working harder or doing more. It was about fixing the signals his body was ignoring. Before prescribing a single macro, habit or workout, we ran what we call diagnostic mapping, a 360-degree deep dive into how his body was actually functioning. We pulled data from 3 lenses. Firstly, a comprehensive functional blood panel looked at through the optimal health range. We looked at thyroid markers, inflammation, glucose control, liver enzymes, stress hormones, and more. This showed us the exact level of function within each biological system, and all of a sudden, everything made sense. Low morning cortisol, sluggish thyroid conversion, and post-meal glucose spikes. He wasn't lazy, his body was just overworked and under-recovered. We then ran Ian's lifestyle assessment and found that his days were sedentary, with a high mental load, low sunlight, and late-night training, a stress cocktail disguised as productivity. And finally, we completed the picture with his symptoms analysis. Every sign, bloating, fatigue, mood swings became data points. Patterns emerged. Adrenal strain, dopamine dips from nicotine withdrawal, circadian rhythm disruption. That's when the picture clicked. His issue wasn't willpower or calories, it was an internal system on the brink of burnout. Major biological processes were under massive strain. Once we understood why, the strategy became simple. Rebuild, regulate, and refine. Once we had the data, the first step was about fixing his fatigue. Ian's energy was fake energy. Caffeine driven, stress fed. He'd wake up sluggish, require 2 to 3 espressos just to function at baseline, and then he'd push through the day and train hard at night. That's a perfect recipe for adrenal burnout. So we pulled back the stimulants, cut caffeine by 1 p.m. and rebuilt his sleep architecture. We swapped his magnesium form from the inadequate form he was taking to a more optimal one for his biology. We adjusted his hydration timing and shut down the midnight overhydration. The result? No more 3 a.m. bathroom runs, improved deep sleep and optimal recovery. You can't refill your tank if you keep punching holes in the fuel line. With Ian, we focused on just sealing the leaks. The second step was to fix his food frequency. Here's where most men go wrong. They eat clean but not enough. Ian had cut portions for years and never rebuilt them. He was under-eating protein, scared of fat, and living in mild starvation. When we flipped him to a low-carb, high-fat rhythm with strategic refeeds, his body finally felt safe. Energy steadied, hunger normalized, and even his bloating vanished. And for the first time in years, fat started dropping off without deprivation. Thirdly, for Ian, we added clear, defined structure. Ian is a systems guy. He thrives on logic, process, and consistency, not chaos. So instead of flexible tracking, we built him a regimented meal rhythm and repeatable training structure. He said it himself. I like being regimented. I don't want to think too much about food or training. So we made the plan simple enough to be automatic for Ian. And that's where consistency exploded, because freedom isn't the absence of structure, it's the presence of clarity. Action step number 4 was to optimize hormone function. His blood work showed the classic modern male signature. Elevated stress hormones, mild thyroid suppression, subclinical adrenal fatigue. We fixed it with food and simple nervous system support supplements, not drugs. Sleep improved, libido rose from 4 out of 10 to steady confidence. Anxiety dropped as nicotine and caffeine came down. By stabilizing dopamine and regulating his circadian rhythm, his body stopped chasing stress and started chasing recovery. Once the physiology was stable, we entered training camp mode. 4 resistance sessions, zone 2 cardio, precise refeeds, water and sodium cycling. He dropped from 75 kilos to 72 mid-prep, aiming for 68 kilos at sub 10% body fat. Every session was logged, every gram mattered. He wasn't chasing motivation, he was a man on a mission with one thing in his mind. And by the end, that discipline transformed not just his body, but his mind too. He wasn't just performing better in the gym, he was performing better in both the boardroom and the bedroom. Here's the truth. Ian's old problem wasn't effort. It was a system that rewards stress and punishes awareness. He was taught to train harder, eat less, sleep when you're dead. But that broke him. Once he learned how to listen to his body's data, the transformation was inevitable. It was automatic. And if you're watching this and you feel like your body is betraying you, it's not. It's protecting you. You just haven't learned its language yet. For Ian today, here's what life looks like. He wakes up energized, not anxious. He sleeps all the way through the night. No more bloating, no more digestive pain. He's dropped 7 to 10 kilos while maintaining his strength and his muscle. His confidence and calm completely restored. He's off nicotine, stable mood, sharp focus. And he looks and feels the best he has in years heading into his 50s. If you're like Ian, disciplined but stuck, stop guessing. Your problem isn't effort, it's signals, it's structure, and it's accountability. And when you fix the internal data, your external results automatically happen. That's exactly what we do inside Alpha 21. We decode your physiology, rebuild your metabolism, and guide you to the version of yourself that your 20s promised, but your 40s forgot. Thanks for watching. Please hit subscribe for more videos like this, and visit the description for a load of free resources and tools for optimizing your health and body as a man over 35.